Welcome, everybody. Welcome to In Context with Jim Green, your final destination for preaching, teaching, and all things apologetics, where we vehemently defend the faith and point the sinner and the saint to the gospel of the one, the only Jesus Christ. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. It helps this message get out to the world. Plus, if you would like more exclusive biblical content, uh, you can join my Patreon page and take advantage of more in-depth articles and studies and things like that. The link is in the description section. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification icon to be notified whenever I post any new content or go live, and it helps the channel to grow. Also, if this content is a help or an enrichment to you in any way, please consider giving to this work through Cash App at that dude, DAT dude Jim, or super chat or super thanks or super sticker. Also, you can send a gift directly by Zelle uh, by going to do the work 2020 at gmail.com, which none of this is mandatory, but it is indeed a blessing. So with that, let's chew the fat here. So this is this is my uh, my yearly. I'm going to call it my yearly and my annual. Um, Hold on a second. I got an echo going on. I got to get rid of this. This is driving me crazy. Hold on. I got to find this echo. Technical stuff. Y'all rock with me. What's up? Hey Walsh, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man? Good to see you, my brother. I'm trying to chase down this echo. I'm trying to chase down this echo because it's driving me crazy. Hold on. Y'all rock with me. What's up? Hey Walsh, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man? Good to see you, my brother. I'm trying to chase down this echo. I gotta find this because this will bug me for the whole entire show. It will drive me nuts, and it would not be good. Uh, let's see. Hold on. I hate it when these types of things happen. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if this works. This why. Hold on. Okay, does that work? Nope, I don't think that worked. I still hear myself in the background. Why do I got double audio going on, y'all, in my ear, and I can't do it. Hold on a second. I still hear myself in the background. I got double audio going on, y'all. Okay, hold on. Is that it? Why do I still hear myself in the background? Okay, I'm about to close every single one of these windows. Y'all be patient with me, please. I'm finna close every single one of these windows. It's not 100% necessary. It's because I got to get rid of this echo. I'm about to close every single one of these windows. Y'all be patient with me, please. I'm finna close every single one of these windows. It's not 100% necessary. And I still hear myself. I still hear myself somewhere. I still hear myself somewhere. I still hear myself somewhere in the background, somewhere. Oh boy, this is annoying. Okay. Uh I don't know what's going on, man. This is really, really super weird. Um I done closed every window that I have. Every internet window is closed. And I still hear myself in the background like somebody is playing me somewhere. Like I don't I don't get this. Okay. I'm such a dunce. I'm gonna tell you. Wait till I tell y'all. Oh my goodness. Check this out, y'all. Y'all get to poke fun at me. Walsh, you probably gonna poke fun at me anyway. Look here. It was on my own phone. I'm oh my goodness, good. Okay. That's I'm showing my age now. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing, man? God bless y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is my annual show. Listen, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a background. Or I want to do something too. I want to do something since this is kind of a special show. I'm going to put the chat on the screen. The chat is going to be on the screen. So if you guys are chatting, it's going to be on the screen. Um, I think I thought I did that. Okay, let me see. Uh, what happened? Is it on the screen now? Go ahead. Somebody chat something because I want to make sure this is working too. Because I'm starting to not like Restream so much. I'm starting to not like it. It's starting to do some stuff that I don't agree with. They're trying to change it, update it, and all that stuff, and I'm not liking it. Uh, Watch you boomers. You funny, man. Okay, chat. Do Walsh, go ahead and type something in the chat, man. And I'm gonna see if it's gonna come on. I just clicked on there to put it on here, but I don't see it. It should be on the screen. It's not on the screen. I don't understand. So go ahead and chat something. Put something in the chat so I can do a test real quick. When I started doing this many years ago, um, I used to do a lot of political stuff. I used to do a lot of political stuff on my show. I used to talk about, I mean, everything. Also, what I used to do is I used to watch a lot of network news. And so if you just put something, see, that's not even working. That's what I mean. Oh, okay, here we go. Boom. It should work now. Okay, yeah, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now we got the chat, and we got the chat on the screen. Let's go. Consider StreamYard. I already am. I already have a Walsh. It's in the plans. I appreciate you, post. Thank you for being here. So it's in the plans. So you guys go ahead and share. Go ahead and hit that share button, man. We get this. This is my once a year political talk. I'm telling you, this is the reason why I'm doing this once. I do this once a year. Now I will give commentary here and there about political stuff, you know, as we go along. But when I rebranded, see, I did this show for many, many, many years under the name The New Real Talk Radio. That was my show. That was my show for years. I took a hiatus, and when it was time for me to come back, I felt the Lord telling me, stay focused on the Bible, stay focused on that type, on just the Bible and the church and that type of stuff. I felt the Lord telling me that. So I rebranded it. I gave it the name In Context with Jim Green because that's where I wanted to be focused on. And here we are. Um, so I haven't done very much over the last couple of years since I've been year and a half or so since I've been rebranded. I haven't done much. Let me go ahead and get this off the deal too, so we can see all of you guys' chats. Just get that off of there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so I haven't done much political stuff because like I said, I felt like I was under a mandate from God to stay focused on the Bible, and that's what I did. But also, um, I do understand that we live in a world where politics is at the forefront. I do understand that. And I do also understand that there is a proper place for the Christian in all of that. You understand? There's a proper place for us to be reacting. Now, I entitled this the way I entitled it because this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like that American politics has become idolatrous. I see a lot of idolatry around politics. I know people and people and human beings who actually of both parties, from both parties, both major parties, they actually have put these people and these political parties on par with a god. It's incredible to see the people, these people, and some of them Christians, are elevating these parties to an idolatrous an idolatrous level. So I thought that since I'm going to do this one time, now I'm not going to be able to cover every single little thing, and this is just the start. And like I said, I will be making political commentary, from time to time and whatnot. Um, but just I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. Politics is a place where you can get lost in the mix. I used to watch 3, 4, 5 hours a day of network news every day, sometimes more. You know what I'm saying? Since then I haven't watched network news in years. I don't. It's all rubbish to me now. I don't watch it at all. Um, and so yeah, so this is me, and I'm going to share things from both sides that are undesirable, because we got some bad stuff going on both sides. Walsh says, I do respect that Trump wants certain protections for Christians. I do too. There's certain things I do like, okay, in this political arena, but at the same time I understand that these people are just humans. Okay, that's my thing, Walsh. And I do understand also that um um there are some forces, at work to come against Christianity in politics, but they're masquerading themselves as the good guys, but they're really not. And we're going to talk a little bit about that always. See, Post says, I can't handle listening to the news anymore. That's why I don't listen to it, brother. That's why I don't listen to it. I took back my control of my news intake years ago, and I'm so glad I did. Now I go to the sources that I want to go to, because the standard national news networks are garbage, and I'm talking about all of them. You could go, you can make a case and say, well, I'm going to go on this channel because they're more. You can make that case, but I just, honestly, to me, it's all the same bag. Okay, it's all the same bag. So I'm going to give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Years ago, when Trump was running, now Trump is the conservative, quote unquote, the Republican um, candidate, right? So, do you remember that? You do understand that the Fox News is supposed to be the network that's for the Republicans, but if you remember, Fox News has some people over there that didn't like Donald Trump, and they skewered him. Megyn Kelly was one of them. Y'all remember Megan? Y'all remember the Megyn Kelly attacks from Fox News? Now, I want to say something about that right there in itself before we even get into this. Um, we These people that work in the news networks, honestly, they don't care. They don't care. Like, And this is my personal opinion, you guys, and y'all can disagree with me. It's cool. I don't have no problem. These people go where there's work. They they bounce back and forth between liberal networks, conservative networks. They go where there's work. They build up their platform, and then they say, I got this platform, so I gotta work. So they go where the work is. So all of a sudden, a news anchor that was working on at the conservative network is all of a sudden at a liberal network, and vice versa. Where's your integrity at? Where's your integrity at? You don't stand for nothing. You just trying to get a paycheck. When I see these liberals over on the Fox News Network, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, I thought that this was the conservative think tank, almost one of the only ones on TV at this point. You know what I'm saying? No, we got internet now. It's different. We got social media now. And so a lot of the more conservative networks have gone the way of social media, which is fine. But on TV, we have MSNBC, we have CBS, we have NBC, we have uh, um, CNN, all liberal networks, and we have Fox News. Come on, come on, man. Is that a stacked deck, or am I just am I just making a bunch of noise right now? Is stacked. So you understand what I'm saying? So then it's time to do campaigns, right? It's time to do campaigns, and the conservatives who feel like they need to win the middle will go on these liberal networks to talk about their campaign or whatever you want to call it. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to be favorable to the conservative? No. I personally, if I was a politician, I wouldn't even go over there. I was like, they can have it. I'm not going to allow them the sport of stringing me up and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. But 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 then that's just me. So anyway, so let's get started, man. Let's get started. So I just wanted to let you know how I approach politics as a Christian, and just a lot of this stuff, man. You guys gonna hear a lot of my personal opinions in this stuff. Okay, well, we're gonna get into some scripture later, but a lot of this is just my personal view of the issues, social issues, and type of things like that. I view politics as a Christian as through a lens that says we have to filter the issues through the Bible, and what gets through that filter is what we stand on, is what we live by. I take an intersectional view. In other words, politics, like political, all the stuff, the financing and all this other stuff, like those things are important, but not to me as important. The things that are in the forefront for me are the social issues that where the Bible has commentary on. Does that make sense? So if the politicians and the news networks are talking about an issue, what that's talked about in the Bible, then that's where I'm interested, and I want to I'll comment on it, right? Okay, that's the only time when I really get involved, honestly. If we just being honest, so it's an intersectional thing. I don't, and this is why I don't spend so much time on politics anymore, because if it doesn't have to do with issues like, honestly, two big issues are abortion and LGBTQ. Why? Because those issues are in the Bible. Abortion is the issue of life. Okay, period. Life of an unborn child. That's a big issue. Yes, it's a big issue. And so, as a Christian who loves God, who has a heart of compassion and a heart of love, I care about the status of unborn children. So anytime that issue comes up, I'm going to have something to say about it. Why? Because God has something to say about it. It's very clear. Do thou shall not K word. I'm hoping I'm trying not to get banned. Do not thou shall not K word. Right? What'd you say? Thou shall not K word. That's the Bible says, right? So if I'm living by that, just based on that right there, I should have a problem with K wording babies. Just that part. Okay. LGBTQ. The Bible says clearly, thou shalt not sleep with a man as they would a woman, and vice versa. Am I going to roll with what the society thinks is good, or am I going to roll with what the Word of God says? You have to make it. You have to take a side. I side with the Bible. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So these are probably the two main issues that pull me into the political arena. Just so you know, because if I made this, because I made my show into a whole political thing, guys. I did it. I did it. I used to I expanded my show. I went from 1 hour to 2 hours to 3 hours. I gave myself a 3-hour window just to talk about whatever, and a lot of it was political, but not anymore. But if it comes down to abortion and LGBTQ, I'm gonna have something to say about it. Why? Because God has something to say about it, right? Okay, so listen. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little bit of historical stuff. I'm really into my history bag right now. I don't know what it is, but just right now, I'm just really feeling history, church history, American history. I'm just really in the history bag right now. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's just happening. So that's what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna give you a history and background of both parties, so that we understand where the values and the positions. I'm gonna lay that out here clearly, so that people will understand where the parties stand on different issues and whatnot. Okay, so let me go ahead and get over here. And you go like that, and okay. So, and I don't like that, so let's try this. That's even worse. Oh yeah, okay. I can't get it any bigger than that. So, Nick Austin, what's up, my guy? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Um, let's see. The left wants us to vote for a woman, but can't define a woman. Exactly. Right, Walsh. That's the first thing that came to my mind too. Jay. Now all of a sudden y'all know what a woman is. All of a sudden, y'all know what a woman is. You've been doing all this. What's a woman? What is a woman? Type of thing. All this time. Now all of a sudden, you know what a woman is. Now that Kamala Harris is running for president. Y'all stop. Just stop it. Anyway, let me go ahead and play this video, guys.
When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind?
Let me stop it. I gotta unmute it. Unmute the side. Okay. Boom.
When you
hold on. Is that can y'all hear that? Yeah, y'all can hear that. Yeah.
Think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats?
Now, she asked a question. When you think about civil rights and racial equality, what party comes to mind? What party comes to mind? What would you say is the party that stands for racial equality and civil rights? Just let's get some. It's we got a few of y'all in the chat. Y'all tell me what immediately comes to mind. Okay, all right. We're gonna let her answer, but I'm just curious to know what y'all think.
Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The
Interesting.
Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetrated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of the 1950s and 1960s.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. Did y'all hear what she said? Did y'all hear what she said? The Democratic Party, listen, defended slavery, started the Civil War over its right to keep its slaves, opposed Reconstruction. And in other words, the Republicans said, we're going to integrate these slaves into our society now that they're freed. Guess who opposed the Reconstruction? The Democratic Party. Guess who founded the party, the Ku Klux Klan? Okay, Democrats founded the Ku Klux Klan. Democrats imposed segregation. Democrats went out and did public lynchings. Democrats fought against the Civil Rights Acts. This is all the way into the 60s, guys. You understand? And this is some of that stuff. This is some of that history. This is some of that stuff people don't talk about. They do not talk about it. Why? Because these types of things are the Democrat Party's dirty little secrets. Oh, why am I starting with this? I don't know. This is just how it laid out. But anyway, let's listen to some more.
In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party.
No, stop right there. Did you know that the Republican Party was started as an anti-slavery party? Let me say that again. Did you know that the Republican Party was started? The whole reason for starting the party was we are going to fight against slavery. Listen, this is American history, guys. And I'm going to tell you something. I've sat in history classes the last 2 summers as part of my job, and I don't hear them talking about this. I don't hear them talking about this. You see, we need to have, this is why we need to have lessons like this. And I'm trying to be more educational too, also on my page, where we have these kinds of moments where we just learn some stuff. You know, some of that dark history, some of that hidden history. I'm going to start pulling out some more of this type of stuff.
Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case, Dred Scott versus Sandford. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The 7 justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats.
What? So let me get this straight. All of the Democrats in the Supreme Court that voted that blacks were not humans, only what, 2/5 human or something they came up with, they were all Democrats. Just so I'm clear. Just so I'm clear. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's see. Let me read these comments really quick. They right here on the screen. Nick Austin says LBJ said he would have us voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And you being kind, Nick, you know what he said. You know what he said? For the next 200 years, when he implemented the Great Society Act in 1968. Absolutely. He used the N word when he said that, though. I'll have those voting Democrat for the next 200 years. That's a quote from a Democrat. Okay. DeAndre, what's up, my brother? Appreciate you for being here. He said people are blind. First off, the Democrats showed their cards by having Biden running in the first place. Exactly. Because why would you? Well, they really didn't have a choice at that point because Kamala, they couldn't put her to the forefront. She had already been primaried. She was gone. Who else were they going to put up? They can't. Everybody else they had has a terrible record. He has a terrible record too, but he was the most recognizable face, and that's all. That's all they had at the time. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah,
The two justices who dissented, both Republicans.
both
The
Republicans. Look at
slavery
that.
question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated President Lincoln.
Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that John Wilkes Booth, the man that assassinated Lincoln, was a Democrat? Did y'all know that? Y'all didn't. Y'all probably. Some of y'all did. I got some smart people here, so I'll just.
Lincoln's vice president, a Democrat named Andrew Johnson, assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the
So you think it was strategic that the vice president was a Democrat and he opposed Lincoln's plan? And all of a sudden we got John Wilkes Booth knock him off, and he comes and say, "Well, no, I don't want to free the slaves."
the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition to the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave blacks citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which gave blacks the vote. All three passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black men were elected to Southern state legislatures as Republicans.
Now I'm going to talk about this more too. I'm going to talk about these black Republicans that we had. I got a video after this one where I'm going to show, and I never heard about them, and I still don't hear. The kids don't know about these guys. Why do we not talk about the black Republicans of old? What are you guys? Why are you not teaching us history? And the more I live, the more I find this unsung history that's very important. And this is one of the reasons why I don't watch network news, because it's not news. It's all propagandized. That's the way I feel. I feel like you guys are manipulating my mind. You want me to believe certain things, so you're just only going to show me certain things. And this is why we got to do the digging
And
and research
22 black
ourselves.
Republicans served in the U.S. Congress
22
by
black
1900.
Republicans.
The Democrats did not elect a black man to Congress until 1935. But after Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses, and they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror, much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Now listen, the Ku Klux Klan was a political party, political arm, was a terroristic arm of the Democrat Party back then. We ain't gonna let these Negroes vote. Here they go. They're at the polling place. I'm gonna show y'all a video clip right now. Right after this is over, I'm finna let this play because I got.
As historian
It's gonna
Eric
clear
Foner,
up
himself a
everything.
Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests
Stevie
of the
Rankins, what's
Democratic
up, brother?
Party. President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared many views with the Klan. He resegregated many federal agencies and even screened the first movie ever played at the White House, the racist film, The Birth of a Nation.
The first film ever showed at the White House, which was built by slaves, by the way, I would point out to you. The Birth of a Nation, which was a movie about the Ku Klux Klan. We don't want to talk about that though. That's America's dirty little secret.
Originally entitled The Klansman. A few decades later, the only serious congressional opposition to the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill, less than 70% of Democrats did. Democratic senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam. And when all of their efforts to enslave blacks, keep them enslaved, and then keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats. As President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act,
here we go.
I'll have them voting Democrat for 200 years.
There's your quote, Nick. There's your quote. There it is. I'm gonna have them N-words voting Democrat for 200 years. Lyndon B. Johnson, President of the United States. Okay?
So now the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing. Democrats falsely claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality, it's the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have kept blacks down.
Now I want to make a comment about that. I'm going to do some in-depth stuff since I'm going to be making political commentary going forward. I'm going to be making some observations, and I'm going to play a video clip a little bit later that's going to explain that, about the failure of, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is perfect. It definitely has its problems. Okay. It definitely has its problems. But there is a marked difference between the parties when we talk about jobs, unemployment, prosperity, and all those types of things. Okay. Between Democratic run cities in America and Republican run cities in America. Listen, one thing I'm gonna tell you, data doesn't lie. Okay. Data can't lie. Data is numbers and letters. Numbers and letters. That's all it is. Okay. It's statistics. They can't lie. They actually reveal the truth about a situation. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's important to understand where all this stuff comes from. Let's see. Nick says, I started to see patterns of recycled events with the government. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that are parallel from them till now. In my opinion, yeah, exactly. There is a lot of that, a lot of stuff. Man, listen. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, there's no other thing more true than in politics in America. Okay, because remember we talk about politics in America. Okay, so let me finish.
Massive government welfare has decimated the black family. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped in failing schools. Politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. So when you think about racial equality and civil rights,
those are Democratic
which political
policy.
party should come to mind? I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University.
Okay, very, very, and this is a fair use on all the videos I'm using today. I'm claiming fair use. This is for educational purposes. This is a very intelligent woman that's making these statements on there. This isn't just somebody who just decided to, I'm just going to get up here and start saying some stuff, right? Okay, so, okay, guys, so listen, let me move on to the next one. I got a lot of stuff to go through. I don't even know if I'm going to make it through it all. It's a lot. So, Y'all hang out. Y'all hang out. Let me go to let's see. I'm gonna show uh, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be able to show. I'm not gonna be able to show all these clips. I got a lot of clips that I want to show. I'm not gonna be able to do it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this one clip, and this is a clip of the Black Republicans. I'm gonna put that in the chat so you guys can check that out on your own. Okay, since I'm not gonna be able to get to it, and I'm gonna show you another clip. If you guys have ever seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie Free State of Jones, you guys need to watch this movie. This is another one of those unsung historical things that I've been talking about that they don't really want us to know about. Um, it's about a gentleman named Newton Knight. We're going to talk a little bit about Newton Knight. Hold on a second. We're going to talk little bit about Newton Knight in a bit. But first, we're going to play. We're going to play this. Hold on. Oh, wait. Is that the one I want? Oh, yep. Yep. Hold on. Okay. So we're going to pull this video up. This is, and I'm telling you guys, if you want to see a good movie that is political and historical all at the same time, you got to see Free State of Jones. You got to see Free State of Jones. Let me, almost ready. Boom. Okay, let's bring it in and let's play it. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
We like Republican tickets.
Okay, now notice he says we like Republican tickets, and he's got a room full of black folks behind him. This is based on a true story, and we're gonna share a little bit about it too in a minute. I just want to play this clip. Let's go.
Yeah.
Look at all them rednecks.
Just the Democrat tickets.
Look at all these rednecks. Look.
We'll wait. Might be a pretty long wait.
All these Democrats, guys. All these dudes blocking these black folks from voting Democrat.
These men are here to vote. And they mind dying a whole lot less than you do.
Ooh. Look, it's finna go down. Look.
Let's see if I can find any.
Now, what you think? Now, okay, so they dropping their votes in there, right? Let's talk about this. Okay, so they dropping their votes in there. What y'all think? That you think they're gonna be? It's funny that we talking about this right now because and I'm gonna get myself in some trouble right now. This is very interesting because they're dropping their votes in there. They're letting them vote. Do you think they're going to be honest with their vote? Do you think they're going to take care of their vote? Do you think their votes are going to end up where they're supposed to go? I would go on the limb and say no. They're going to go take them out in the back and make and use them for kindling. They not finna let them votes ain't finna get. Look, we just got through getting out of. Here's where I get in trouble. This is what the political stuff gets me in trouble more than the Bible stuff, y'all. But anyway, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because people are scared to say it. Trump got cheated out of the last election. Y'all go ahead. Go if you would disagree. If you watching this and you disagree, go ahead, email me, chat me, whatever you want to do. You don't. All of the battleground states don't all of a sudden at the same time uniformly stopped counting their votes. And the next morning, all of a sudden, and Trump was way ahead. All of a sudden, oh, look, it's a miracle. Biden won. Biden won. Miss me, man. Miss me. Miss me. Miss me. And on top of that, we have now convicted people that have been convicted of election fraud. They in prison right now. We got video evidence of people stuffing stuffing ballots for Biden. Okay. I just stated a fact. It may be an inconvenient fact, but it's a fact. Okay. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. I hope it don't happen the second time. I hope it don't happen the second time. Oh, look at that. Oh, they met. Oh, okay. So they allowed them. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so they actually, let's go back and look. They actually look. Official election returns. Jones County, Mississippi, 1875. Democrats 419, 2 Republicans. Now, oh look, how is that 2 Republicans when we just seen at least 7 or 8 Republicans put that in there, put their votes in there. See, this is fraud. This is fraud. I just got through talking about that. We just had the same thing happen in 2020. I mean, yeah. Did we not just have this happen? Anyway, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. But y'all see what's happening. Y'all see what's happening. I hope it don't happen again. I really hope it don't happen again. In the year that follows, federal troops are steadily removed from the South despite a sharp rise in Klan activity. Remember, we told you the Democrat Party started the Klan. Thousands of African Americans are murdered leading up to the election, president election in 1876. This is hard to watch. My goodness.
Anxious for you to do.
Okay, I can't watch no more of that. That's terrible. That's terrible. But y'all see what's going on, right? Y'all see that? And this is based on actual, like I said, this is based on an actual true person. And so I'm gonna put up the article for that person. The person that was with Matthew McConaughey person is an actual real person named Newton Knight. Okay. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Newton Knight and why it's important for hold on, let me open this, and why he is important to the American to American politics. You guys just saw how that went down, right? Took all those guys over there. They went. They had to. They had to allow them to exercise their rights. But what happened? They cheated them. But here's Newton Knight. Newton Knight, a white Mississippi farmer, led armed opposition to the Confederacy during the U.S. Civil War, creating the Free State of Jones, a county that supported the Union in the war. Okay. So little background really quick. Newton Knight opposed the state seceding from the United States, saying the white farmers like himself did not support slavery. After deserting from the Confederate Army, he led a rebellion against the Confederacy in Jones County. According to the lore, and declaring it the Free State of Jones. After the war, he lived with a woman who had been enslaved, black woman. They had 5 children. Knight's descendants formed a biracial community in the segregated South. And I just want to point this out. This is another part of hidden American history. We don't want to talk about the white Americans that helped blacks during all that time, that helped blacks during slavery, that helped we have a history of white people helping black folks in this country, loving black folks in this country. We don't want to talk about it. You're not going to hear about it. Why? Because we need to, the forces that be want to make them an enemy. See, they have to have an enemy. This is one thing I've learned, okay, about cults. Okay, and I was in a cult myself. Cults need a common enemy. Okay, politics can be cultish as well. I'm talking about it right now. Okay, so the enemy in this case, in our society, they try to make the the Republicans or the evil white men are the enemy. Okay, the good people, we're going to talk about the switch. We're going to talk about the switch here in a minute, are the good people. When if we look in history, we see white people that gave their time, effort, energy, money, and blood to fight for and defend black people in this country. But nobody talks about that. But nobody talks about that. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, let me move on. Okay, so Newton Knight. Say, put him back up here. Early life. Newton Knight. Okay, we're gonna go to the Civil War. Knight married Serena Turner. In 1958, the couple would go on to live and have children together. Shortly after the Civil War, Knight enlisted in the Confederate Army, so he was on the other side. His reason for doing so, however, is unclear. Some accounts say that he was coerced by a pro-war passions of the times. Others say that he wanted to avoid conscription, and some say he simply liked being a soldier. And in the late 1862, however, Knight deserted and returned to his Jones County town. There he discovered the farms were suffering with so many men at war. There were not enough people to do the work. To make matters worse, the Confederacy levied a tax in kind that allowed the army to take from local residents whatever it needed in the way of supplies. So they would just come by and pillaging the farms during that time. Knight was captured as a deserter in early 1863, but by later that year, he was back in Jones County. In November 1863. Major Amos McLemore, sent by the Confederacy to capture deserters, was shot and killed in Ellisville, the county seat of Jones County. It is generally believed that Knight killed him. So they sent this guy to capture some slaves, and Newton killed him. Okay, you're not going to take these people. Why? This man had a heart. He didn't care about the color of that dude's skin. You're not coming to do this. Okay. So he stands up. And I'm gonna read this little part about the Free State of Jones, and I'm gonna move on for this. So like I said, I'm not gonna be able to get to everything. I wish I could, but so it says, Knight rallied about 125 others, some deserters, some enslaved people, and formed the Knight Company. They saw themselves as defending the residents of Jones County from the Confederacy. Their insurgent actions included impeding tax collectors, taking Confederate Army supplies to redistribute to Jones County's residents, and even killing supporters of the Confederacy. Whoo! Because remember, they was coming to kill them too, coming to take what they had and kill them as well as they had to. By early 1864, Knight Company had raised a U.S. flag in Ellisville. Although whether they actually declared the Free State of Jones is uncertain. Nonetheless, their rebellion had come to the attention of the Confederate leaders, who sent troops to stop it. The troops found and executed many members of Knight Company, but not Knight or other leaders who had hidden in the swamps. They continued to interfere with the Confederate war efforts, fighting their last battle in early 1865, only months before the Civil War ended. So this guy raised up an organization to fight against this racism, the KKK, and the black folks' right to vote. He was a Republican. That's history. So let's go into the new thing. Okay, so I made this. I want to talk about, since we're talking about this. There's always the issue. Racism is always an issue in America. It has been since the transatlantic slave trade. It has always been an issue. Okay, and so we got to talk about it. It's one of them things where people we don't really want to talk about it, but it's a big issue. Okay, and so one of the things that's going to be entering into this election cycle is, oh, Donald Trump is a racist, because that was the whole Trump card that they had last time, was he was a racist, right? Okay, so I want hold on. I have something here that I want to show you guys, because racism has evidence. There's evidence. We can look at the KKK and know that they look at their actions, right? We can look at the actions of the KKK and know that they're racist, right? We can do that, right? So we can look at the actions, the people they hang around, the things that they do, right? We can do the same thing with Donald Trump. We can actually see his actions, okay? Not what the media says, his actions, his lifestyle. How did he live? Who did he hang around? What are the actions that he's taken in regard to other folks? Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that sometimes this dude says some stuff and he should just be quiet. You being weird. Why are you saying this stuff? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna act like he doesn't say some crazy stuff. Sometimes he does. But I want to show this. Hold on. Okay, so this is Donald Trump. This is back in the 90s. Okay. This is pictures of Donald Trump way before he started running for president. He decided to run for president. Okay. Who do you see now? Some of these people, I mean, he's hanging out with Don King, you know what I'm saying? Jesse Jackson, Muhammad Ali, liberal, super, uber liberal Oprah. Okay. Now he's with Mike Tyson, y'all. He hanging out with Mike Tyson. Okay. Mike Tyson. Now, I just want to stop this. Do you think that Mike Tyson would hang out with anybody that's racist? Do you think he would do that? I don't think so. And then you got Evander Holyfield. This is just a little slice, just a little cross section of people that Donald Trump was hanging out with. Okay, in the 90s, way before he even thought about running for president. But all of a sudden, he's a racist, right? No. Racists don't hang out with the people that they hate. Okay, but I got something else for y'all. Here's a video clip. And you guys remember Joe Jackson? He used to have a show. He's a judge. Judge Joe Jackson. And he got interviewed. And the interviewer, I don't know how they got around to talking about Donald Trump, but they asked him, the interviewer asked him about Donald Trump. I'm gonna play this clip for y'all so y'all can see. This is a very interesting clip about Donald Trump. Okay, hold on. Let me bring that in. Bring that in like that. And do this like this and play.
What is your take on Trump? Is Trump a racist?
I don't think so. I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave him a term loan. Show up with the interest and the principal, one check, but they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, "This is what you supposed to pay me? This our agreement?" I said, "Yeah." And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business.
And this was when?
This was back in the 90s.
Okay, so do racists give people loans to the people that they supposed to hate? That's the question on the table. I don't think so. Would you give somebody that you hate some money to help them? I'm gonna come to you. I'm racist. You coming to me, and you want a loan from me to start a business, to something that's gonna help you, something's gonna put money in your pocket. Am I gonna pay for that if I'm a racist? And then when it's time to pay back, you tear up the check. You don't take the money that you gave them. That's not a racist, people. That's not a racist. That's not something that a racist does. Right? So let's listen to a little more.
See, most people don't even know this. He had a sister. Every time you saw him back in the 90s, fine
Yeah.
paper bag, brown, beautiful black model.
Yeah.
He likes fine women.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem with dating a black woman, walking her down red carpets.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Because Donald Trump used to date black women back in the day. So listen, you don't date somebody that you hate. It just don't happen. We need to stop this. The moment that Donald Trump came down the escalator and declared, see, he kept it on the wraps when he decided to run for president, and he he went on The View, and they was like, oh, all his buddies, they all loved him. All the women of The View loved Donald Trump. Okay. And they would say, are you going to run as a Democrat? Yeah. They was getting all excited. Okay. He said, well, I don't know yet. I'm still trying to make up my mind. The moment he declared as a Republican, racist, Donald Trump is a racist. Sit down and shut up. Okay. Because you just lying. He wasn't a racist when he was at your show and you was pumping him up and lifting him up. He wasn't a racist when he was hanging out with all these black celebrities. He wasn't a racist when he was dating black women back in the day. He's still not a racist. Stop. Just stop. You know what I'm saying? It just, let me see how much more we got of this.
So, I mean, she says he's not a racist. He just doesn't like many people, black or white. And he appreciates people who do stuff within their lane. Well, not stay in their lane, but where they choose to be. If they do it well, he admires them. Black, white, brown, red, yellow.
Do your job.
Most people don't know this. He was the finance man behind Jesse Jackson's 2 runs for president.
Ooh, okay. So he financed, listen to this. Let's see, this is the undercover history I'm talking about. He financed. Now, I don't agree with Jesse Jackson's politics. I just don't. He's a uber liberal now, way more liberal than he ever was. But his 2 runs for president was financed by who? Donald Trump. Do you support a person, or if you're a racist, do you support somebody with your money like that? You know how much it costs, a political campaign costs? It's millions of dollars. It's millions of dollars. He did not 1 campaign, 2 campaigns. Is he a racist? I don't think so. I do not think so. Wow. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, he talks, but I don't mind somebody talking. I think we've gotten too sensitive to that. That's part of the effeminization of the country. I remember
Yeah.
in junior high and high school, hey man, I won't say nothing, man, but last night when I saw your mama, man, you don't know I was over there because you was asleep, man. But blah, 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 blah. We ran the dozens. That was our sport.
Yep.
So we were used to talking about each other. Now, man, he talking about my mama, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is the good point here. This is a good point I want to say. Sheila Mahone, appreciate you. Thank you for checking in, sis. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So listen, this is very good because this clip was done years ago. Now we're at the point where everybody's offended about every little thing. This is what I will say about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a politician. Okay. He didn't go to Harvard. He didn't go to Yale. He didn't go to all the political stuff. You know, that wasn't his career. He's a businessman. Okay. Reginald Wells, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Wasn't Reginald Wells in the house? You guys, hey, follow my brother Reginald Wells, good brother of mine, cross media brother, and also follow my brother Jesse Walsh, who was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but you guys can roll back the chat, and when you see Jesse Walsh, go ahead and follow him too. Good people with good content. So go ahead and do that, man. I appreciate that, brother. But anyway, Donald Trump is not a politician. He's just a dude, an American that became successful in business and wants the country to do better. That's it. He talks. Sometimes he talks too much. Sometimes he need to be quiet. Sometimes he says some stuff he don't need to be saying. Okay, I'm just being real. But I'm gonna be honest with you. And sometimes you have to say, is he? And the question, is he a Christian? I don't know. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Sometimes I don't see the characteristics. When you out and you in a public setting, and I know it's politics, but if you are a Christian, then you represent yourself a certain way. And sometimes he says some stuff that I'm like, okay, I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Sheila, based on what, Sheila? He's a crook. What does that even mean? Oh, name one person name some people that's in power that are crooks too. I could name a whole bunch of them. So I mean that's your opinion. That's good. She put laughy faces. Okay. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. I mean, think about it. How many times since Donald Trump has been around in politics, he has faced court after court after accusation after accusation after accusation. Every single time they find out the accusation is bull crap. Every single time. Every time. That should tell you all you need to know right there. Okay. And what they do find is something that's so, okay, really? That's minimal. That honestly, to be honest with you. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on the racism stuff. So just know you heard it here. I personally, I believe that the evidence shows that Donald Trump is not a racist. That's my assessment. Okay. When you go back and look into history, he got too much positive interaction with the black community to be a racist. Racists don't fund people to millions of dollars. Racists don't give black folks loans, and then when they come to pay it back, he tear up the check. Racists don't do that. Okay, everybody is not lying. Okay, well, prove to me he's a racist. That's what I'm saying. Everybody been taking shots at him, and every time they take shots at him, if it's like, well, we thought this, but now we think this. Get in line, because it just. Anyway, let me put up this. Let me put this up. Let me put this up real quick. Let me put this up. Yeah. So let's put this up. Let's talk about, since we're talking about, let's talk about the policies. Let's talk about the policies that he put forth. Is he perfect? No. But let's talk about the policies. Okay. Let's talk about the policies. That's honestly, to me, that's what's really important. The policies. Okay. The policies. What are the policies that Donald Trump championed? Okay, when he was in office. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Um, Donald Trump signed the historic First Step Act into law. 90% of those who have had their sentences reduced are Black Americans. The First Step Act shortens mandatory minimum sentences for nonviolent drug crimes. Now, we need to talk about that because the mandatory sentences, okay, for non-drug crimes, that came from the Democrat Party. You know what else came from the Democrat Party? The 94 crime bill. Okay, the 94 crime bill. Are you guys familiar with the 94 crime bill? The 94 crime bill was a piece of legislation that was put forth by, guess who? None other than President Biden. Well, he was a senator or something then, and signed into law by Bill Clinton. The 94 crime bill allowed the government, the police and the government, to go into the Black communities in America and arrest them for little stuff. Okay. On under the guise of the Drug Enforcement Act. Okay. And lock up a whole lot of Black people. Hey, sister, I agree with you. See, I'm not for the Democrats either. Both sides is rotten to the core. Now, I will say that there's some rottenness on both sides, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm talking about, and this is why I'm doing this show. I'm talking about from a moral standard. Okay, I'm talking about from a moral standard. And my two main things are the LGBTQ policies and the K wording babies. I'm trying not to get banned. That's why I'm using that. Those are my two biggest issues. You know what I'm saying? I heard about that. I heard about Project 2025, and I heard that he rejected that. Did you hear that? Did you hear that he rejected Project 2025? But that's not going to be in the news. This is why I don't listen to the news, Sheila, because the news is not going to report his rejection of that, because they know that that's a rotten deal. He's distanced himself from that. The same thing when he's distanced himself from racism and from the Ku Klux Klan. He said it 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. They kept trying to put it in his face. He said, how many times do you want me to denounce it? Why? Because they want it to be true so bad. They would see, this is how the Democrat Party works. If we repeat it, you want me to show you? You want me to show you that he rejected it? Okay, now that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it right now. Let's see. Okay, so this is just one. Hold on, let's see. Okay, hold on. He says that's far right, but let me put this. Let me put it in here. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play this. Let's see. Okay, so let me put this up. Because so you get to hear out of his own mouth. Like
against that. How can you be against it? And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
So you heard him right there saying, look, I don't even know. Like, he's like, I don't even know. He said two things. He said two things. What about his minions? No, wait, no, let's deal with what no, you told me he didn't. First, let's have a talk, sis. First, you told me that he didn't disavow it, and I just showed you that he did. He said it was extremely to the right, and I don't even know what it is. He has nothing to do with that. A whole group of far right conservatives came up with that. Just like they tried to connect him with the Klan, and he had to do the same thing. I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? Every time he comes out a lot. Come on, sis. You don't really truly believe that, right? You don't really truly believe that. And I'm not stumping for Donald Trump. Let's get this straight. But why can we not give him points for what he does right? Like, let me get back to the document that I was sharing. Okay. We want to see, this is what happens. This is what happens. This is what we do in this country. In the media is probably the biggest person that does it. We want to focus on his failures and his frailties, and we don't want to celebrate his victories. Listen, he's not perfect. I said that. He's not perfect. His moral stuff, like his personal life, he got some stuff going on. I'm not going to even front. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Okay, but you can't deny these things that he's done. Sister, you didn't hear the part that I said about him doing his daddy was, and now here we go with that. Come on, sis. Okay, you missed the part where I just showed. You got to go back to the beginning of the video. I just showed him hanging out with some of the biggest black celebrities in the 90s who loved him. All the women on The View loved him. He hung out with them. He gave loans to black business people, 0% loans, which when they came to bring the check back, he tore it up. You don't do that if you're a racist. You don't do that if you're. I know I've been around, sister. I've been around a long time too. I've been around a long time. Okay, and but let me get back to what I was saying. Because listen, look at the record. Look at the record. The law allows offenders sentenced under racially motivated mandatory minimum sentences. Again, this came from the Democrat Party. President Trump launched the Ready to Work initiative, which helps released prisoners gain meaningful employment. Trump did that. President Trump has proposed a Second Step Act to partner with corporate America to create opportunities for former prisoners to rejoin society. Trump did that. Okay, listen, It says Black Americans are seeing unprecedented levels of economic success. This is when he was in office, with record low unemployment rates, more jobs, and higher incomes. Remember, these are facts. Facts don't vote, okay? Facts don't vote Republican or Democrat. Facts don't vote Republican or Democrat, okay? Facts are just facts, okay? So it says over 1.4 million more Blacks have found a job between President Trump's election and February 2020. Okay. Like I said, this is back during the era when he was around. Black poverty reached a historic low in 2019. Did you think that happened by accident? Or was that the policies of the man that was in office? President Trump designated 8,776 opportunity zones that are projected to spur $100 billion in private investment in minority communities. Now, I don't know how much of this has been rolled back, because one of the first things that Biden did when he got in office is he rolled back. He said, I'm going to roll back everything. I'm going to roll back everything that Trump did. And he did. He tried to do that. The Trump administration established a fund to deploy $1 billion in capital funding for minority-owned businesses through the Commerce Department. Okay, this is from UC Santa Barbara. Says this is what this is. It's actually a fact check. It's actually a fact check. Like somebody fact checked to see if he did all the stuff, and he did. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the chat. I'm gonna put this in the chat so you can get it, sis, and then you can do with it what you want. Let's see. And like I said, facts don't vote. Facts are just facts. And it's funny because when they were rolling this out one time, when he was doing his I think his State of the Union speech, right after they were rolling this out, right behind that, Nancy Pelosi got up and basically went down the line and said, this is a lie, that's a lie, we did that, that's a lie, that's a lie. Just come on, man. Didn't want to give the man credit for nothing that he did. Stop it. I'm sorry. Is the man perfect? Absolutely not. But did he enact some policies for Black folks? This is what we're talking about right now. Did he enact policies that help Black folks? Of course. Let's talk about what he did with the HBCUs. 14%. By 14%, he raised the investment in historically Black colleges and universities by 14%. The Trump administration provided more than $500 million in loans to HBCUs through capital finance program. President Trump worked with HBCUs to protect $80 million in Title III carryover funding. Okay. President Trump signed the Future Act into law, which permanently funds HBCUs. Now, I think they overturned this. I think the Democrats overturned this. See, because what happened with this is they had to go and campaign for their money every year to the government, every year. Donald Trump said, why don't we just make it permanent? Why don't we just make it permanent so they don't have to do that? These people are here for education. Again, get a man to do for what he did. In 2018, President Trump signed a budget deal which forgave more than $300 million in debt owned by 4 HBCUs impacted by natural disasters and provided $10 million in loan payment deferments for schools that face financial difficulties, including HBCUs. President Trump worked with Congress to lift the ban on Pell Grants on summer classes. That's just a little bit. That's just a few things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what it says. Yeah. The American Presidency Project. What do you want me to read? Trump campaign press release. So, what do you want me to read? I don't understand what you want me to read, but I read it. But it's okay. You don't have to believe any of it, sis. You really don't. I'm not here to convince nobody. I'm just as much of a reporter as anybody on MSNBC or CNN. Okay, that's the way I put it. But anyway, let me move on with my show here. Anyway, so let's do we spent pretty much all this time we talking about, because it's coming down to this, right? We know it's Kamala versus Trump, right? Okay, so I found this clip. Actually, found this clip this morning. Okay, this is what I found. Okay, so here let me put this up here. This is the clip I found. I don't know. Did somebody put this in my box, or was it just random? I think it was just random. But anyway, let's put this up. Very interesting, right? So check this out, guys. So put this in. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna just be real honest.
Okay, hold
with
on.
this. She's
Hold on. Let me go back to the back. He the question is, well, let's go to the beginning.
Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
Talking about voting for Kamala Harris.
I'm gonna just be real honest with this. She's a Black woman.
Only because she a Black woman?
Yeah.
Why only because of that?
Because I would love to see a woman in office.
Oh, shit.
Why?
I want to give us a shot. I mean, how many presidents have we had that were all men? Like, let's.
All right, vote for Hillary.
Hey, I'm so broken, bro. Honestly, like on everything.
So just because she black. This woman is going to vote for Kamala Harris just because she's black. First of all, let's hold on. Let me get up close for this one. Can we be honest? Kamala Harris is not black. Okay, she's not black, and we never start claiming that she was black until she started saying she was running for president. She comes from an Eastern Indian background. And there's pictures of it and everything. I'll do it at a different time. I'll show some pictures and whatnot of her background. She's not black. But the media and the Democrats are all lining up. Why? Because they're all lining up to get the black vote. That's what it's about. And they know that all they have to do is trot a black face out. And they're going to get people like this girl right here. Oh, I'm voting for just because she's black. How many people have voted for Obama just because he was black? I'm going to be honest with you. The first time around, I voted for Obama. Why? Because he was black. 6 weeks after that, when he signed a $60 million bill to fund K-wording babies in China, I said, Lord, what did I do? I made a mistake. And since that time, I watch my politics closely. When it comes down to the moral stuff like that in the LGBTQ, which are biblical issues, life is a biblical issue. LGBTQ issues is a biblical issue. I side with the Bible, period. Okay. So anyway, so let's finish this. Let's just finish this clip. Okay, let's finish this clip.
On my father's grave, I am so broken right now, man.
Why?
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay.
And I just want to say, is a little bit of cussing here. The guy's getting ready to get passion, and he's getting ready to lay out some of Kamala's records. See, because this is what it come down to. What are your policies? What is your record? What are your policies? What's your record? Okay.
So we're in 3 proxy wars. with some of the most powerful leaders in the world.
Okay, let's stop right there. When Trump was in office, I keep saying that because he was the last president we had. Before Biden took over, we were at world peace. In fact, he made a peace deal with North Korea and with the Middle East and with Iran. We were at peace. Now, like this dude says, we're in 3 wars. 2 of them, like almost immediately when Biden got in office. Is that coincidence? Come on. I think not.
She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco, ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this.
That's right.
We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city.
Now let's talk about that for a little bit. Okay, so you all know my hot button issues is the K word and babies and the LGBTQ. But honestly, how much more money are you paying for your groceries, for your gas? And then I brought this out on my Facebook. Some dude said, "Well, the president doesn't have anything to do with any of that. The inflation, he has nothing to do with that." Shut up, man. Shut up. Anybody that has half a brain knows that the policies that your administration puts forth is responsible for those types of things. Be quiet, because you don't know what you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's.
She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before.
Okay, hey, sis, it's okay. We can disagree. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I mean, I don't care who you vote for, but I'm just saying, listen to this. Listen to this tape. Listen to the tape.
But we sitting here and voting her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dayton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
Yes.
Would you vote for?
And there it is. Facts. Listen, I'm gonna make a statement right now. Right now. Here's what I'm gonna say. Facts don't care about your feelings, guys. And when you line the facts up about the Democrat Party and I'm gonna say both of them, they're not perfect, but when you line the facts up, the policies of each one of those, there's a marked difference. And when a Democrat policy goes into place, it destroys. Look at the cities all around. The brother just brought it out. The cities run by Democrats are bad financially. They're bad. I live in California, that's run by Governor Newton, one of the biggest liberals in the Democrat Party, and our financials are terrible. We are billions of dollars in. When he took over, there was a surplus. And in matter of fact, in 2020 there was a surplus. Now, all in the 4 years since Trump, Biden was elected, we're suddenly billions of dollars in debt as a state. How does this happen? Democrat policies suck. I'm gonna be real with y'all, as I always am. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. Would you select someone to perform heart surgery on you based on the color of their skin? We are the stupidest people on the planet. That's a good observation. Old school saint. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. It does, and this is why we had a movement in this country, and why we talking about it, of black folks toward Donald Trump, because we saw that he did enact policies for the good of black people, even despite everything that was happening, despite all the media attacks, despite all the court battles, despite all the Democrats attacking him. He still did the job. And all those things I sent, all those facts that I sent, did I put forth, he did all that while he was under all that pressure. I can't do nothing but give a man props. That's just being real. So anyway, so let me play another clip here. I play this clip and talk about something else that is undiscovered American history that we don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of that. I got a lot of that today. A lot of undiscovered American history. The history that they don't want you. And can I just give y'all a tip? As Christians? Listen, you don't have to listen to the network news. You don't have to cut that stuff on. If you really want to know real politics in America, watch C-SPAN. Okay? C-SPAN is very generic. Okay? You just get the facts with them. You get the votes, who voted for what. You get the discussions about all the laws that's being put forth, all that stuff. You get that with C-SPAN. You don't get no spin. See, on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all these networks, Fox, all of them, you getting spin. They're spinning it, okay? They're spinning it for whatever ideas they want to put forth. You don't get no spin at C-SPAN. You get the raw, pure, undeveloped stuff. If you really want to be like, I want to know what's really going on in my country, go to C-SPAN. And that's just my personal tip on politics for today. There you go. So let's go ahead and let's let this tape roll right here, guys. Let's let this tape roll right here.
Once upon a time, every student of history,
I love this
and
lady.
that meant pretty much everyone
Carol
with a high
Swan.
school education.
I want to say something about Carol Swan, okay? Carol Swan is one of the most intelligent, articulate women that informationally that I know. You know what I'm saying? Very, very highly successful, works at a university, very educated, very humble individual. I listen to all her videos. She's very good. And she's very real. And those are the type of people that I draw to. You know what I'm saying? People that are real. I don't do good with fake. Anyway.
Knew this. The Democratic Party was the party of slavery and Jim Crow, and the Republican Party was the party of emancipation and racial integration.
Remember the earlier video I played, how that this is the Republican Party was started as an anti-slavery party to fight against who? The Democrats. Just to remind y'all.
Democrats were the Confederacy and Republicans were the Union. Jim Crow Democrats were dominant in the South and socially tolerant Republicans were dominant in the North. But then, in the 1960s and 70s, everything supposedly flipped. Suddenly, the Republicans became the racists and the Democrats became the champions of civil rights. Fabricated by left-leaning academic elites and journalists, the story went like this. Republicans couldn't win a national election by appealing to the better nature of the country. They could only win by appealing to the worst. Attributed to Richard Nixon, the media's all-purpose bad guy, this came to be known as the Southern Strategy. It was very simple. Win elections by winning the South. And to win the South, appeal to racists. So the Republicans, the party of Lincoln, were to now be labeled the party of rednecks. But this story of the two parties switching identities is a myth. In fact, it's three myths wrapped into one false narrative. Let's take a brief look at each myth in turn. Myth number one, in order to be competitive in the South, Republicans started to pander to white racists in the 1960s. Fact, Republicans actually became competitive in the South as early as 1928 when Republican Herbert Hoover won over 47% of the South's popular vote against Democrat Al Smith. In 1952, Republican President Dwight Eisenhower won the southern states of Tennessee, Florida, and Virginia. And in 1956, he picked up Louisiana, Kentucky, and West Virginia too. And that was after he supported the Supreme Court decision in Brown versus Board of Education that desegregated public schools, and after he sent the 101st Airborne to Little Rock Central High School to enforce integration. Myth number two, Southern Democrats, angry with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, switched parties. Fact, of the 21 Democratic senators who opposed the Civil Rights Act, just one became a Republican. The other 20 continued to be elected as Democrats or were replaced by other Democrats. On average, those 20 seats didn't go Republican for another 2.5 decades. Myth number three, since the implementation of the Southern Strategy, the Republicans have dominated the South. Fact, Richard Nixon, the man who is often credited with creating the Southern Strategy, lost the Deep South in 1968. In contrast, Democrat Jimmy Carter nearly swept the region in 1976, 12 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And in 1992, over 28 years later, Democrat Bill Clinton won Georgia, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. The truth is, Republicans didn't hold a majority of Southern congressional seats until 1994, 30 years after the Civil Rights Act. As Kevin Williamson of National Review writes, if Southern rednecks ditched the Democrats because of a civil rights law passed in 1964, it is strange that they waited until the late 1980s and early 1990s to do so. They say things move slower in the South, but not that slow. So what really happened? Why does the South now vote overwhelmingly Republican? Because the South itself has changed. Its values have changed. The racism that once defined it doesn't anymore. Its values today are conservative ones, pro-life.
And let's talk about that too. And I'll put the link in the chat for those 22 Black Republican. Maybe I'll have some time to show that. Hold on. Let's
pro-gun
get
and
through this.
pro-small government. And here's the proof. Southern whites are far more likely to vote for a Black conservative like Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina than a white liberal. In short, history has moved on. Like other regions of the country,
But then you know what happens to black people who side with the Republican Party, right? What do they call them? Call them coons, bootlickers, all this racist stuff. Like, you know what I mean? That's what they get. That's what we get called whenever we side with anyone who's not. See, this is the way I grew up. Let me get up close to y'all for this. This is how I grew up. Jim, we're black, and politically, the black people, we vote for the Democrats. The Democrats are for the black people and the Hispanics and the poor people, and the Republicans are for the white people. They are the rich and the white people. That's what, and because we're black, Jim, that's how you vote. So guess what I did when I was able to vote? Guess what I did? I went and I looked at the ballot, and okay, here are all the Democrats. I didn't even look. I didn't even care. Why? Because I was taught, Jim, you vote, blacks vote Democrat. I was taught that. Then I started looking. And I was saying, some of the stuff, wait a minute, some of this stuff that some of their policies, like, I agree with that policy more than the one over here on the same issue. So then I started moving toward that way, and then I started liking stuff over there. So then I found myself kind of in the middle, and then I got saved. And when I got saved, I said, I'm gonna vote for the candidate that most reflects my biblical values. Okay, and y'all know I've been saying it this whole time. My two biggest biblical values are K-wording babies in the womb and the alphabet community. Why? Because these are biblical issues where the Bible is clear. I don't know what else to say. That's what it comes down to for me. Outside of all the other issues, they're important too. But if we have to, if I'm nailed down to two candidates, and one candidate is for K-word and babies, and the other one is not, I'm not even going to look at the person that wants to. Period. And when it comes to the alphabet community, I respect their right. I respect their right to be a human being and exist in this world. You know what I'm saying? I do. But I don't think their rights should supersede of everybody else's rights. I don't think they should be allowed a juice card to go everywhere, anywhere they want, do whatever they want, all that stuff. I just don't. It's not. I mean, and that's the long and short of it for me. But anyway, let me let Carol finish here.
the South votes values, not skin color. The myth of the Southern strategy is just the Democrats' excuse for losing the South, and yet another way to smear Republicans with the label racist. Don't buy it. I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University.
Yep, Carol Swain. So there it is, guys. There it is. There it is. We got it. We got to look. Listen, we have to get. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Politics is like drugs. As somebody who used to be on politics like it was dope, and somebody who been on dope. I posted this week. I posted my testimony on my Facebook and talked about how, I was on drugs for a long time, like almost 20 years, and now it's been over 20 years since I've been on it. Glory to God. But I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have something controlling you, and that's what these politics have done to us. And it bleeds over into Christianity. We got people that are in Christianity that they spend more energy, time, and effort on political things than they do on the things of God. They spend more time watching news networks than they do watching someone preaching or teaching the Bible. They spend more time, energy, effort on their favorite candidates than they do their favorite preachers. I don't understand this. God is supposed to be first, right? God is supposed to be first in the life of the Christian. That's what I thought. I thought he was supposed to be first. But I'm gonna pull up this article. I'm gonna read this article that I found. Let's see. Read this article that I found, because there is a certain way that we should conduct ourselves as Christians in regards to politics. I'm not saying that now it's your choice if you want to be involved, but there should be a way that you conduct yourself politically. And that's why I wanted to do this show. It says Christians, this is from renew.org. It says Christians in politics, 5 principles for Christian interaction with the political world. Okay. It says, what should the relationship between Christians and politics look like? Here are 5 guiding principles for choosing faithful Christian engagement when it comes to politics. Okay, let me make this. Let me zoom in a little more. I feel like y'all can't see it. Okay, better. Choose to be influenced by theology over ideology. Did you guys hear that? Choose to be influenced by theology over ideology. This goes back to but this is something that God gave me years ago. This idea is called we have to detox from American Christianity. This is what God gave me years ago. And one of those things, one of the principles God gave me when he gave me that is we have to filter everything through the word of God. And whatever comes through that filter and survives the filter of the word of God, that's what we stand by. This is what we need to do with American politics. Same thing. I don't care who the candidate is. I don't care who the party, what party they from. We need to take them through the word. And if they survive, then we stand with them. If they don't survive, we don't stand with them. It's just simple for me. Anyway, choose influence over susceptibility. Trust in God instead of giving in to panic. Okay. It says, as a minister who leads a church, I'm frequently asked questions. I don't mind tough questions. In fact, there are times I enjoy the challenging task of puzzling out an answer to an objection to something I have said, a theological or doctrinal quandary, or something similar. One of the most difficult questions I have faced in the last few years, and maybe you can identify here, is where Christians ought to stand politically. This question can take a few different shapes. Maybe you have heard one of these. Should Christians be involved in the political sphere at all? Ever heard that before? Should we vote when neither candidate seems to hold to Christ-like values? Good question, right? What if one candidate seems to represent much of what you value ideologically, but there is an obvious moral disconnect? We're looking at that right now. With all these candidates that are involved, is there one issue that outweighs all others when voting? These can be difficult questions, and if I'm honest, I have often found myself struggling to find clear answers. How do you feel when faced with a nagging question and you simply can't find a satisfying answer? The question doesn't go away with a quick, often one-sided answer. Often the nagging only increases with intensity. I would like to suggest an alternative approach to one we often default to, one that has arisen out of personal experience and effort as I've tried to address a variety of different issues. Here's where I've landed, and I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helpful to you too. When you can't find definite answers, search instead of guiding. search instead for guiding principles. Okay, did you guys hear that? Okay, we're going to get down to the principles. Principle number 1, choose kingdom over nation. Choose kingdom over nation. And this is, in big part, this is the big problem. We got people that call themselves Christians that are putting the nation over the kingdom. Like I was saying earlier, they spend more time, effort, energy into their political stuff than they do their church stuff or their godly stuff. This is why I don't watch 5-6 hours of network news anymore. My Bible and who God is and church and ministry is more important than that. It says to a people who were wrestling with questions equally difficult to the ones we are facing today, the Apostle Paul famously said, "Our citizenship is in heaven." Philippians 3:20. We got to remember that. I wonder just how compelling that idea is to most of us. My guess is that many of us treat Paul's words not as a concrete statement of fact, but as an abstract and perhaps aspirational idea. But Paul was plain in his words to the Philippians. To him, citizenship in heaven was not wishful thinking or far off promise, but a very present and transformative reality. Jesus was equally plain as he stood on trial before the Roman governor Pontius Pilate and declared, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants will fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders." Think about that. But now my kingdom is from another place. John 18, verse 36. Jesus made the position like this is not my home. Heaven is my home. Do you have the same idea? Or are you fighting for the comfort of your earthly home? Just a question. Anyway, Christian and politics. As followers of Jesus, we are first and foremost to be not of this world kind of people. We got to get out of this malaise that I am an American first and then I'm a Christian. No, if you're a Christian, you should be a Christian first and then an American. You should be concerned about your heavenly citizenship first and then your American citizenship. I think some of us got this backwards. I think some of us got this backwards. I think we're putting too much emphasis on this political stuff. And like I named my show today, American Idol, because that's what this has become. Politics in America has become idolatrous. We're uplifting these parties, we're uplifting these candidates, and looking to them as if they are our savior. And they're not. We have one savior. His name is Jesus Christ. You understand? So I'm not going to read all this. It would take me way too long. I'm just going to try to get to these principles. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat so that you guys can read it on your own time. So let me go ahead and put this there. Boom. Please read this. It's a very good article. Principle number 2, choose theology over ideology. The Oxford Languages defines theology as the study of the nature of God and religious belief. You know what's funny about that? The word theology. I have more Christians who fight me on that word than I have other people fighting me on other stuff. We got so many Christians that say you don't need theology. You don't know what theology is if you think we don't need it as Christians. The study of the nature of God and religious beliefs, we don't need to understand that. I don't know where you go to church, but you in the wrong place. Anyway, it says you might say that theology is a very practical level, involves the thoughts we have about God. In this sense, we are all theologians to some degree. Listen to that. In contrast, the Oxford Languages Dictionary defines ideology as a system of ideas and ideals, especially ones which forms the basis of economic or political theory and policy. Ideology, then, is a lens through which we look at problems of the world around us, especially political and economic ones, and the way in which we propose, in theory, to resolve those problems. When I say we should choose theology over ideology, what I'm not saying is that there is something inherently wrong with ideology. What I'm saying is that if you choose to give yourself to a particular political or economic ideology, it's very possible that it begins to shape your worldview more than the Bible does. And this is the biggest problem that I see with politics. When people lead with politics, their worldview starts changing. Your worldview should be whatever the Bible view is. As a Christian, your worldview should not be rooted in politics. Your worldview should be rooted in the Word of God. You see, it says your ideology might very well change your biblical views to be more in line with whatever social subculture you most gravitate toward, because it can be difficult to tell exactly what it is, what is at the heart of a particular political ideology. We are followers of Jesus. We followers of Jesus should exercise wisdom as we sort through the confusion of a complex political system. And for those of us who follow Jesus, our starting point should always be scripture. Brothers and sisters, listen, we got to filter everything through the word of God. If it's not mathing, then we don't roll with it. If it's not, it's like a math problem. It really is. If A plus B don't equal C, then we not rolling with that. We're not rolling with that. We're not rolling with that. And that's why I'm saying we need to start with scripture. That's our starting point. Okay. Not the political landscape, not the opinion of people on social media. You start not the position of your party. You start in that Bible. That's your starting point. Okay. So principle number 3. Choose Christian witness over political power. In 2 Corinthians 5:20, the Apostle Paul states that the Christians are God's ambassadors in the world. An ambassador is a representative. Remember that. You are a representative to the world. If you call yourself a follower of Christ, you call yourself a child of God, you are an ambassador to the world. This is why I have a problem with these people like the Hebrew Israelites who say that they represent God, but every time we turn around, a filth and foul is coming out. Filth and foul out of their mouth. Filth and foul out of their mouth. No, you're not. You're not. That's not representing God well at all. So anyway, this is a heavy thought that we should absorb for a moment before moving on. And in all we do, all I do as a follower of Jesus, I am called to be a representative of God's truth in this world. That this is also true for you if you have given your life to Jesus. That's your responsibility. That's what God expects of you, to be his agent in the world. Okay. This means that we live as citizens of heaven and ambassadors of God's kingdom. At times, we should expect to find ourselves at odds with the kingdoms and nations in which we live. This is what this is saying, that if you're living the way that God wants you to, there are some things that happen in this world that you shouldn't agree with. You can't roll with everybody on Facebook. You can't roll with everybody on Instagram or on TikTok. Why? because some of these people are not rolling with God, and neither should you. You should not roll with them. Okay. It says this means that as we live as citizens of heaven and ambassadors of God's kingdom, at times we should expect to find ourselves. Okay, oh, God just read that. This is especially the case when a state expands beyond or fails to live up to its God-given roles of bringing order and exercising justice, talking about the government. We should expect to find ourselves at odds with leading political parties and often popular politicians as well. As I contemplate this, a difficult question comes up in me. Just how intertwined can I be with anyone of this world system and still be a faithful witness to God? Question. That's a question for you. That's a question for you. How much of the politics do you agree with before you start be looking less like Christ and more like the world? Because if you swallow that whole thing, I don't care what party you're from. If you swallow the whole hook, you going down. I don't care if you're Republican or a Democrat. Because there's some stuff on the Republican side that's not good also. Okay, you just heard that. I just played the clip of Donald Trump saying there's a far right. There's a far right. These people are way out there. He says that they're the equivalent of the far left, the super uber liberals. We got super uber conservatives. And we need to stay away from them too. You see, so as Christians in politics, just how intertwined can I be with any of this world systems and still be a faithful witness to God? That's a question that everybody needs to ask themselves. Okay. So, okay. And like I put the that in the chat. I'm not, like I said, I would love to read it all, but I can't. It's taking me too much time. So principle four, choose influence over susceptibility. As we seek further guidance concerning Christian political engagement, we will once more turn to the words of the Apostle Paul, specifically to some advice he gave to the Corinthian church regarding their relationships with those who do not show obvious signs of following Christ. To illustrate his point, Paul used the image of two oxen plowing a field, and in so doing, gave the Corinthians a wonderful metaphor that would have spoken volumes to people who lived in a predominantly agricultural society. While English translations of 2 Corinthians 6:14 tend to disagree on whether Paul told the Corinthians not to be yoked with unbelievers at all, or simply advised them about the dangers of unequally yoking, this point is still clear. Any of us can be susceptible to ungodly influence depending on the partnerships we give ourselves over to. Listen, the ideas and the concepts that you have as a Christian are important. That's basically what that means. That means the same way in your personal life. You can't be friends with everybody in this world. Just like you can't be friends with everybody, you can't roll with every policy. You can't believe everything a politician says, any of that. Okay? As followers of Jesus, we should search out positions of Christ honoring influence, of opposed to allowing ourselves to be placed in settings in which we are sheep-like and impressionable. Okay. Just because somebody you like says something doesn't mean that what they said is good. That's what it comes down to. I don't care who you are. If you getting up and you talking about we gonna K-word babies, I'm done with you. You're a child killer. It's that simple. and as a position from a person who is a Christian and believes in the principles written in the Word of God, you should too. I think you should too. Don't vote for people who want to kill babies. I don't. How much more? How much more? I shouldn't even have to say that, but there's people that do that. I know. I'm sorry. I slipped one. I don't know. They might ban this video. I don't know. I'm getting kind of passionate about this. Let me move on. See, Christians in politics, you can hold your nose, but you don't have to hold their water. I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's go to principle 5. This is the last one. It says principle 5, choose trust over panic. Ultimately, whoever is in office, now this is very important. Whoever is in office, we must remember that God is on the throne. I remember when Biden stole the election, and I said it. I remember when Biden stole the election, right? So I remember a lot of people said a lot of stuff about that, and people was like the country's going to hell and all this stuff. And in my mind, I was like, the economy is probably going to get bad. We seen that definitely happened. I didn't know we was going to be in all these wars so quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had no wars when Trump was in presidency. We had peace with the world. Okay. And we were paying like half of what we pay for gas now. In a way, like 30% less of food, what we pay for food. Yeah, these are all facts, guys. It's just you can't. Facts don't have a political party. I keep saying that, but all these are facts. Anyway, but I had to come to the realization that, you know what, God is still on the throne. We still here. We still surviving. Praise God. We have to keep reminding ourselves that. Okay. So, but anyway, it says this becomes more difficult to recall the more deeply we're invested in a particular political outcome. You know, I remember being very frustrated at 2020. I was very frustrated at the outcome because I seen the cheating. I saw it. Everybody saw. Anybody who has any shred of integrity saw it. Saw the videos of them stuffing Biden ballots. We got people in prison right now for election crimes right now due to 2020. Period. It's not a fact. I'm not making something up. You can disagree with it all you want to. The facts say that. Anyway, I'm not going to keep beating that drum. But anyway, I had problems. I was done with politics altogether. You know what I'm saying? It was just recently that I started to, reassess things and come to these realizations that I'm sharing with y'all now. But God is still on the throne. Whoever is in office, God is still on the throne. That's all I wanted to say. Anyway, it says, I can remember many Christians who thought the world was going to end when Barack Obama was elected president of the United States 8 years ago. Anyway, many believed we had finally reached Armageddon when with the election of Donald Trump. Y'all remember the meltdowns that the liberals had when Donald Trump became president? It was actually hilarious. That was some funny stuff. I'm not going to even lie. Says then when Joe Biden was elected, that was proof that the sky was finally falling, right? Says then, wait. As I write this, we have moved into 2022. This is an article from a couple years ago. And unless we are living in some strange version of the Matrix, the world is still turning. Absolutely. Says we are not the first people to have felt as though things were so bad. The world must be on the verge of coming to an end, nor even the first Christians to feel so bad. During the first century, persecution of Christians became so intense that many were certain God would return and put an end to their struggle. Okay. God is still on the throne. That's what it comes down to. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So I'm gonna go over these 5 points, y'all. I'm gonna go over these 5 points with y'all. Listen, when it comes to politics, you should use this as a rule. Number 1, choose kingdom over nation. Kingdom of God over nation, period. If you're a Christian. Number 2, choose theology over ideology. It's what's in the book that outweighs ideas, these American ideas, okay? The Bible first. The Bible over ideology, okay? Number 3, Christian witness over political power. What's more important to you? Who God has made you to be as an ambassador in this world, or who you are politically? You see, that's what it comes down to, right? Number 4, choose influence over susceptibility. The influence is what we have now. This word influence is important because we live in an influencer era, and we got some of these people who have a certain amount of influence, but the influence that you want to seek is the influence that is given by the word of God, and for you being part of the kingdom of God. Okay. Number 5, trust over panic. Listen, God is over this whole thing. Okay. And until he says the world's going to stop, the world is not going to stop. So you should trust God, whatever the outcome is, whoever is in office, you need to trust God. It's that plain. It's that simple. You see what I'm saying? So that's my yearly show. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna make any more commentary on this. This was just my big overarching story, and I deal with little pieces and parts of what I talked about going forward. And like I said, Sister Sheila, she gonna email me. And if you want to talk about this kind of stuff, like, you can email me. My email address is scrolling right there on the bottom. Do the work 2020@gmail.com. If you want to have these conversations, we can do that. Or like I say, any of my other socials, JL Green on Facebook. Also, you can always hit me in my box over here on In Context with Jim Green. Always willing to have a conversation with people about whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to remember something. I just want y'all to remember that that make your decisions based on what God would want you to do, how God would want you to proceed. That's what we should be doing, right? If we're his servants, the servant does what the master wants. The servant master, see, this is one of the problems in America. We, especially like in the church, we flipped around the servant master relationship, and we've made Christ the servant and us the master. Like, we tell him what we want, and he go step and fetch it. No, this is not how this works. Submit to God and do what God wants you to do. And that's in everything. In your thoughts, in your voting life, in your personal life, it should all be focused on God. You see what I'm saying? And so that's going to be, that's like I said, that's my big overarching. I could have went on another forever and ever, but no, I actually got some things I got to get to, but I appreciate everybody coming to hang out, man. You know, as usual, y'all could have been someplace else, but y'all came to hang out with me for a minute. Walsh, as always, my brother from another mother. Hopefully we can hook up tomorrow, Walsh, like we planning in the group. Post, appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Nick Austin, my brother, appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by as well. Reginald Wells, appreciate you stopping by. My sister Sheila, thank you for stopping by as always. Stevie Rankins, appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Old school Saint, thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. You just think biblically when it comes to the Bible, man. Just think biblically when it comes to politics in America, and you're gonna be all right. You hear what I'm saying? Appreciate each and every one of you guys. God bless y'all, man. If you what's I gonna say? Oh, I got an upcoming debate with the Catholic brother. Y'all be be hanging out, listening for that. You're gonna get details about that probably sometime early this week. It's gonna be Friday, and so I'm just inviting you guys ahead of time to be with me for that. The subject was Peter the first pope, so that's gonna be a pretty robust conversation. I'm looking forward to that. We appreciate it if you guys will be there. So with that, God bless you guys. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.